Then we are now discussing returns under GST. Look into returns under GST, page number 148. Purely this is for MCQ only, nothing else. And in this returns under GST, so carefully listen, there is one surprise also for you, okay? Nothing here, okay? If I tell that you will sit, that's why. Time limit for various returns. Surprise is that, we are completing, that's why. I mean, we are completing the major portion. Only one first chapter and second chapter is left, which already I have uploaded in my YouTube. You can see that later also, okay? So see this, time limits for various returns. First return is GSTR1. And GSTR1, first we need to understand what are the returns and who is required to file that return and what is the time limit for filing that return. GSTR1 is to be filed by every registered person. What does it contains? Details of outward supplies. And what is the time limit by which GSTR1 needs to be filed? Monthly means 11th of the month following every month. Quarterly, 13th of the month following every quarter. And who is required to file GSTR1 quarterly? A person who opted for QRMP, quarterly return monthly payment. And they have brought in GSTR1A. GSTR1A is for amending the details furnished in GSTR1. And when it should be filed? Before filing GSTR3B of the respective month. For example, for July month, by 11th August, we are filing GSTR1 and the 3B needs to be filed by 20th of August. Between this 11th August to 20th August, 9 days, if I want to rectify the GSTR1, can I rectify it? Yes, of course I can rectify it. That will be done in GSTR1A. Suppose if I rectify that in GSTR1A in 2 days, that is 12th and 13th, it will be reflected in 2B of the recipient. If that crosses, then gone. In 2B of this month it will not come, in 2B of the next month it will come. Is it clear or not? So GSTR1A it can be filed even after filing GSTR1. But anyhow I can do amendment in the next month GSTR1, sir. Yes. But why to wait for next month? This month itself I can do the amendment. That's why they brought in this 1A for amending the details furnished in GSTR1 before filing 3B of the respective month. Simple here. Next month means I will add the liability next month. I will discharge the liability next month. Why should I pay next month? 1 month itself before I can pay now. If I add the details and add extra liability, so in the 3B itself I can pay 1 month before they are getting money means, so like a money lender they are behaving here, okay. Then in case of QRMP scheme, for first 2 months in a quarter, they need to file IFF, invoice furnishing facility, by 13th of the month following every month. Then GSTR3B. GSTR3B is a summary return that contains all the liabilities, ITC, etc. and all, and even late fee interest. And when the 3B needs to be filed, so every registered person is required to file. Monthly means by 20th of the month following every month, and quarterly it is by 22nd or 24th of the month following every quarter. And in which case it will be 22nd. So for GMCA and states below, just visualize India map, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh and states below that, including Telangana, Maharashtra, then Tamil Nadu, Kerala, etc. It will be 22nd. For all other states above, Orissa, then Punjab, etc. and all, it will be 24th. 24th of the month following every quarter. So notified states, you remember, underline this, GMCA. GMCA, okay. So what is that? Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Andhra Pradesh and states below that. Next, how the details will be reported in GSTR1. Outward supplies in GSTR1. So there is an amendment in this place. So B2B, B2C. B2B always invoice wise. B2B always invoice wise. Let it be intrastate or interstate. Always B2B will be invoice wise. Whereas B2C previously large invoices means 2,50,000. Now they have reduced it to 1 lakh. Means B2C intrastate always consolidated, but B2C interstate, if the value of invoice exceeds 1 lakh per invoice, then invoice wise details to be uploaded. If the value of invoice does not exceed 1 lakh per invoice, state wise consolidation. You need to remember just 3 points. Point number 1. So B2B always invoice wise, B2C intrastate always consolidated, B2C interstate state wise consolidation if the invoice value does not exceed 1 lakh per invoice, if it exceeds invoice wise. Okay. Then next, CMP8. CMP8 is required to be filed by whom? That is composition scheme dealer. What is the time limit? 18th of the month following every quarter. I think this has been rectified. In your book it is there. So corrected. It's already corrected in your book, no? Invoice greater than 1 lakh, invoice does not exceed 1 lakh. That is already proper only. Then look into this. So CMP8, 18th of the month following every quarter. GSTR4 is annual return. Who will file that annual return? By composition scheme dealer. Time limit 30th June of the succeeding financial year. GSTR5 is a return to be filed by NRTP, non-resident taxable person. So non-resident taxable person needs to file GSTR5, but their registration is only temporary. So 13th of the month following every month, or 7 days from expiry of registration, whichever is earlier. GSTR5A, OIDR and OMG supplier. Please add there, OIDR supplier outside India and OMG supplier outside India. Both of them will file GSTR5A. What is the time limit by which they will file GSTR5A? 20th of the month following every month. GSTR6 is ISD return. ISD return time limit is what? 13. Then 13th of the month following every month. Then GSTR7, GSTR8 already we know. TDS, TCS time limit 10th of the month following every month. GSTR9 and 9B to be filed by annual return. Every registered person, 9B by e-commerce operator. 9 series always remember the time limit will be 31st December of the succeeding financial year. But who is required to file annual return? GSTR 9, a person whose aggregate turnover exceeds 2 crores. Who is required to file GSTR 9C reconciliation statement? A person whose aggregate turnover exceeds 5 crores. So aggregate turnover exceeds 2 crores and 5 crores, 9C 9. Then GSTR 10, final return. Final return to be filed by a taxpayer whose registration has been cancelled. What is the time limit for filing final return? 3 months from the date of cancellation or date of cancellation order, whichever is later. But remember, this 3 months is common for both. Okay. So this 3 months from date of cancellation or order of cancellation, because while reading you may get confused, you write that. So 3 months from date of cancellation or 3 months from order of cancellation. This 3 months is common. So date of cancellation is the date on which your registration is cancelled. Order of cancellation is the date on which you got the order copy. So whichever is later, the 3 months will be constant. Okay. Then GSTR 11. Who is required to file GSTR 11? GSTR 11 is to be filed by UIN holder that contains the details of inward supplies. And this is whichever is later. So please make note that is whichever is later. Then look into the special points on returns. Sequential filing of returns. What is that? That is, first without filing GSTR 1 of this month, I cannot file the GSTR 3B of this month. And without filing GSTR 3B of previous month, I cannot file the GSTR 1 of this month. So like that we have sequential filing of returns. Then government on the recommendations of GST Council may allow a person to file GSTR 1 even if GSTR 1 is not filed for prior periods. That is, usually without filing GSTR 1 for previous periods, you cannot file the GSTR 1 of this period. But in some special cases, government may allow a person. Then this already we saw section 38. Then this is rule 88C and 88D. 88C will come into picture when liability in GSTR 1 is greater than liability in GSTR 3B. 88D will come when ITC in GSTR 3B is greater than ITC in GSTR 2B. But in both the cases, notice will come. Here 1B, here 1C, DRC 1B, DRC 1C. Upload in portal, email, 7 days, everything same. Pay the difference, explain the difference, partial payment, that is also same. But this place where there is a difference. So in 88C, what will happen? They will do direct recovery. They will do direct recovery under section 79. Whereas in case of 88D, if you have taken the ITC, first they gave a notice now, you have to reply to that notice. If no proper action has been taken by you, then they will initiate 73-74, means another notice will come. Now the 73-74 notice will come, and thereafter it will go as per 73-74. And till the time you are doing that is till the time you are paying the difference or explaining the difference, what will happen? So this is common, these 4 points are common. Your GSTR1 will be blocked. Because of GSTR1, your 3B gets blocked. Because of not filing 1 and 3B for consecutive 2 tax periods, e-way bill gets blocked, and this will also lead to suspension of registration. Okay, because in suspension of registration, frantic violation of bailer, you see that, turn the pages and see, in that frantic violation of bailer, in that bailer L, liability in GSTR1 greater than liability in GSTR3B, and ITC, excess ITC availment. Can you see that? ITC default is there in that. So that will lead to suspension of registration or cancellation of registration. Then, who are not required to file GSTR1 or GSTR3B? Remember, tonic in the T square. T for TDS TCS deductor, O for OIDR supplier, then N for non-resident. See, OIDR includes OMG also. Okay. Then N for non-resident taxable person, I for input service distributor, C for composition scheme. Because all these people, anyhow they are filing some other return. That's the reason why GSTR1 or 3B not required. Whereas annual return is not required to be filed by CAG tonic, CAG, that is a person whose books of accounts are subject to audit by Comptroller and Auditor General. T for TDS deductor, but TCS deductor is required to file GSTR 9B annual return. Then O, same, OIDR supplier includes OMG. Then N, NRTP, I, input service distributor. C is not composition scheme, casual taxable person, because composition scheme dealer will file annual return in GSTR 4 na. Then late fee for delay in filing return, section 47. So what is the late fee? Remember, if it is GSTR 1 or GSTR 3B, mostly the questions will be on this only. GSTR 1 or GSTR 3B, nil return means 25 rupees, nil return means 10 rupees per day. Other than nil return, only 25 rupees per day. Okay, nil return 10 rupees per day, other than nil return 25 rupees per day. What is the maximum? Nil return 250 rupees. Other than nil return, if my turnover exceeds 5 crores, 5,000, exceed 1.5 but does not exceed 5, 2,000, does not exceed 1.5 crores, 1,000. Okay, but this is under CGST Act. The same will be payable under SGST Act. Then GSTR 5, 5A and 6. In all these cases also, nil return same 10 rupees per day, other than return 25 rupees per day. But maximum we don't have any other number, only 5,000, 5,000. Then GSTR 7, so 25 rupees, already we know, 25 rupees per day subject to maximum 1,000, 8 is 100 rupees per day subject to maximum 5,000. GSTR 9, 9C, 9B, etc. See there, first, if it is per day, aggregate turnover during previous year does not exceed 5 crores, 25. Exceed 5 but does not exceed 20, double 50. Exceed 20, double 100. Okay. And what will be the maximum? First two cases 0.02% of turnover. Next it will be 0.25% of turnover. Any other return, it will be 100 rupees per day subject to maximum 5,000. But GSTR 4 is there na. GSTR 4, who will file GSTR 4? A person who is opting for composition scheme will file GSTR 4, and so GSTR 4 limit, composition scheme means 1.5 crores. So just remember this as the limit, GSTR 4. Okay, that is nil return 10 rupees per day, other than nil return 25 rupees per day, maximum 250 and 1000. This is GSTR 4 late fee. Then next, an equal amount of late fee is payable under SGST Act also, and 3 cases they can file the nil return through SMS. Who are they? GSTR 1, 3B and CMP 8. But remember, all the entries in the return should be nil. Notice to return defaulters. There is a GSTR 3A notice in assessment we have discussed. Whenever you are not filing returns, one notice will be given. and in pursuance to that notice we need to file return within 15 days. If you are not filing return within 15 days, that will lead to best judgment assessment under section 62. Then rectification of returns, GSTR1 and 3B can be rectified by 30th November of next financial year or date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier, but the rectification should not be on account of any audit inspection. Means voluntarily you should identify and you need to do the rectification, not because of audit objections raised by the department. Then GSTR1 or IFF shall be blocked or restricted in the following cases. So when your GSTR1 will be blocked, just now two cases we completed. What is that? 88C, 88D. What is 88C? When my liability in GSTR1 greater than liability in 3B, or ITC in 3B greater than ITC in 2B, these two. Plus, if I am not filing GSTR1 of the previous tax period, I cannot. Okay. So either previous month or previous quarter. Then one more point you remember, not furnished bank details. If you are not furnishing the bank details within time, these are the 5 cases where our GSTR1 will be blocked. This can be asked as a theory question. Then this is the new GST return structure involving GSTR1A and IMS. See this. So between first month to between 1st to 11th of the month, that is say July month over, August 1st to August 11th, supplier will be adding the invoice in GSTR1 and they will file GSTR1 by 11th, correct? When they file GSTR1 by 11th, then between 11th to 20th, they can file the GSTR1A to do the amendment to this GSTR1. So by 14th, if they file GSTR1A, so amendment effect in 2B of the recipient. If they are, that is immediately the same month. If they do it after this date, then amendment effect will be there in 2B of the recipient in the subsequent month. Okay, not in this month but in the subsequent month. Then so but GSTR 3B of the supplier will get affected. Yes, amendment effect in 3B of the supplier. You understood these points here? Again I am repeating. So between 1st to 11th we will add the invoices, that is supplier. From supplier point of view I am discussing. So we will add the invoices. As soon as we add the invoices, we will file the return by GSTR1 by 11th. Thereafter we can amend. What is the time limit for amendment? By 20th we can amend. But if you amend it by 13, that is before 14, the advantage is that it will be reflected in the 2B of the recipient. If you do it beyond that, in your 3B only effect will be there, but in the recipient 2B it is going to have effect in the next tax period. Is it clear? Now, sir, what happens between 1st to 11th? 1st to 11th, what will happen to the recipient? So 1st to 11th, they have created a new portal called as IMS, that is Invoice Management System. In that invoice management system, the recipient, you are the recipient. What you should do is that you will get all the invoices raised by your supplier. You need to do 3 actions. Either accept. If you accept, it will go to 2B. Reject. It will not be coming in 2B. Why will you reject? Block the credits. Invert supply used for non-business purpose. Invert supply used for exempted. You reject. It will not come in 2B. Pending. You neither accept nor reject. It will be pending. So that will be carried forward to next month 2B. You know why? Because you don't want to avail ITC because you have not received the goods. Only invoice is there. Keep it pending. So next month you can take. So like that there are some conditions for availment of ITC. You keep it pending. So you can take it in the next month. Suppose if you have not done any action in IMS, automatically all the invoices will come in 2B. So see this. Invoice management system, action either rejected, pending or accepted. If it is accepted, it will go to 2B. No action also deemed accepted, it will go to 2B. Rejected, it will not come. Pending, transfer to next month IMS. So whenever it goes to 2B, so now what will happen? So how much you can take ITC in 3B, recomputed 2B, that is draft 2B. Whatever is the draft 2B minus rejected invoices. Rejected invoices will be gone. Pending invoice also will be gone. So remaining only will be able to take ITC. Is it clear? Next. This is the new GST return structure that we are having now. So not all invoices will come now in 2B because you need to do this action. When you are doing this action, accordingly only this accepted will come. So this pending and rejected will be gone. And thereafter, suppose lot of people are not doing this action actually. So deemed to be accepted, all the invoices will be coming. And all returns, including annual return, except CMP8, whatever returns that we have seen above, everything can be filed belatedly, but before 3 years from its due date. Okay. Next, look into next section, section 48, role of certified GST practitioner. So what a GST practitioner can do, they can make application for registration, they can file the returns, and they can file intimation to pay tax under composition scheme or withdrawal from composition scheme, or they can make application for refund, they can act as authorized representative, they will furnish the details for generation of e-way bill, they will furnish the details of challan in ITC4, and they can make an application for amendment of unique enrollment number. These are the only activities that can be done by GST practitioner. And who can become a GST practitioner? They should be citizen of India, person of sound mind, not adjudged as insolvent, and not been convicted by a competent court for an offence with imprisonment not less than 2 years. Means greater than 2 years. Up to 2 years if they are imprisoned, okay, they can become GST practitioner. Responsibility for correctness of particulars. Who is responsible for correctness of the particulars? Not GST practitioner, registered person only. So every return file should be made available to the registered person. Registered person should agree to that. Then only it will be filed by the GST practitioner. So therefore, if the registered person is not agreed, deemed acceptance. So GST practitioner can file. But if there is any mistake, that registered person's head only will roll. Then next, you can see the next area, QRMP scheme. To whom QRMP scheme is applicable? If my aggregate turnover during the previous year does not exceed 5 crores, and I will be filing GSTR1 on a quarterly basis by 13th of the month following every quarter, and 3B by 22nd or 24th of the month following every quarter. But how I will pay tax? Monthly. By which date? 25th of the month following every month in the first month and second month of the quarter. What about third month? Anyhow, all these 3 months I will be filing 3B by 22nd or 24th. So monthly payment of tax through PMT6 using fixed sum method or self-assessment method by 25th of the next month for 2 months in a quarter. And B2B invoices. So B2B invoices, if I am filing GSTR1 on a quarterly basis, my recipient will take ITC also on a quarterly basis. So due to that reason, B2B invoices, I will be reporting in IFF, invoice furnishing facility, and which will be reflected in 2A or 2B of the recipient. It is not mandatory, it is optional, but because of the recipient pressure, I will definitely do it. So it is mandatory only. And QRMP scheme is GST wise, not like composition scheme all in all out, which means I have 4 registrations. For each registration, I can decide whether to go for QRMP or for normal scheme. And what is the time frame to opt in? 1 month after commencement of the quarter and 2 months before commencement of the quarter. For example, April 1st, April to June I want to go for QRMP. 1 month after means by April end I need to decide. And 2 months before commencement of the quarter, that is February 1st. Between February 1st and 30th April, I need to decide for going into QRMP. And condition to opt in, last return should have been filed. GSTR1 or IFF facility, that is IFF is optional, and if I go for IFF, the advantage is that first month and second month I will file IFF, the details will come in GSTR1, otherwise all 3 months I have to add GSTR1. And one stupid point is there in that, that is monthly I can add invoices only up to 50 lakhs. This may be tested as MCQ. The said details of outward supply not exceed 50 lakhs in each month. What are the methods I have? So 2 methods I have, fixed sum method and self-assessment method. In fixed sum method, what I will do, I will see last 3B file. Last 3B file is quarterly. In that quarterly, net liability into 35%, I will take as this month liability and pay for first month and second month. If the last 3B is monthly, net liability into 100%, I will take and I will pay for the first month and second month. What if there is some differential amount? In case of a differential amount, that is for example, I paid under, for example, last quarter it was 1 lakh. 1 lakh into 35%, 35,000 I paid. And my actual liability is 40. Whether I need to pay interest on that 5,000 rupees? No. I don't have to pay any interest on that 5,000 rupees if that 5,000 rupees is paid by the due date of 3B. And there is another method, that is first system computed method, that is whatever method they are telling I need to follow, that is fixed sum method. Another method is there, self-assessment method. I can do it on my own. That is self-assessment method. I can compute actually how much is the liability, how much is the ITC, etc. So that is self-assessment method. But if I go for self-assessment method and if there is any difference in tax, say I deposited 35,000 assuming that 35,000 is my liability, ITC is not in my control because my 2B may be properly reflected or not reflected. It is not in my control. I thought this is ITC and I have paid, but my actual liability gone for 40,000 rupees. Now on that 5,000 should I pay interest? Yes. That is this. Fixed sum method, so you need to follow whatever they are telling. Quarterly filer of 3B, 35% of tax liability in the preceding quarter. Monthly filer, 100% of tax liability in the preceding month. Then self-assessment, you need to pay whatever is the actual amount. Any change in 3B, no. Compulsory opt-out, whenever your aggregate turnover exceed 5 crores. Whether late fee is applicable in this case, of course late fee is applicable for delay in filing GSTR1 or 3B, but not for payment of tax. For delay in payment of tax, there is only interest. See this interest may be tested in exam. Interest on account of short payment or non-payment under QRMP. First, fixed sum method. Tax with respect to first month or second month not paid by 25th of next month. So first month, for example April and May, you need to pay by 25th of May, 25th of June. If you have not paid by that time, interest will be payable at the rate of 18% per annum for every day delay. This is common between fixed sum method and self-assessment method. Whereas differential tax means I told you actual liability minus whatever money that you have already paid. If it is fixed sum method, on differential amount you don't have to pay any interest if the differential amount is paid by the due date of 3B. Whereas in self-assessment method, on the differential amount from 26th of next month till the time you pay the differential amount, you need to pay the interest. This is the only place where there is a difference. Then suppose if 3B filed late, if 3B filed late, normally interest will come, let it be FSM or SAM. From the due date till the actual date of filing 3B, you have to pay the interest. Interest not payable on differential tax under fixed sum method if such differential tax is deposited by the due date of 3B. Then there is something called as first return, section 40. What is first return? Every registered person who has made the outward supply from the date they are liable to get registered till the date they are getting registration certificate, all those details they need to pay GST now. From the date you are liable to get registered till the date you are getting registration certificate, you need to pay GST on those outward supplies. So those details also you need to include in the first return. That is this. Every registered person has made outward supplies in the period between the date on which he become liable to registration till the date on which registration has been granted shall declare the same in the first return furnished by him after grant of registration. So with this we completed returns also.